Hey folks, how y'all doing? Fat Guy Flies RC. Yep, it is the Arrows Marlin. And big shout out to Hobby Zone for sending this out to me for a review. And let's go over, we're going to unbox it, and we're hoping to be able to build all in one video. Radio setup will be an entirely different video. What I'm going to be doing with these planes like this, the Hobby Zones, I'll be doing an unbox, build, radio, and then a maiden, 3 video series, 3 separate videos. Wingspan on the Marlin is a 900 millimeter, 35, a little over 35 inches, a little over 39 inches long. She's got a 40 amp ESC, so she runs on 4S. I had a Marlin before, and I did try to run it on 3S, but it was like dragging your feet in the sand. It barely had enough power to get out of its own way, so I don't recommend it. She requires a 6-channel radio. The CG is 80 to 90 millimeters from the leading edge. Now that says the leading edge, but on a jet you have angled wings, so actually it's the leading the wing root where the wings touch the fuselage. She runs on a 2200 up to a 2600 4S. I'll be using a 2700 Laperier 4S for this plane. So let's get her out of the box. Untape everything, cut the tape, so you know it's a brand spanking new model. I hope the manual's not folded. Oh, by the way, hello. And of course, it's a good looking plane. And looky there, everything is nice and secure. Cut all that tape, get everything cut on tape so you can get everything lifted up out of here. Alright, right off the bat, first thing you got is your wings, or your wing, one-piece wing, which is nice. That is sandwiched in there, so I'm going to have to cut that piece of foam. Don't try pulling it off the side because your ailerons are already hooked up. Set the foam off. Everything is already all ball link control surfaces, nice big cheeve there. Everything is already hooked up for you. All your servo leads, everything is labeled. Nice, very nice finish on the wing. Of course, that's all decal, but you can see the individual foam cells, but you cannot feel them. Flaps already hooked up. And look how nice and level everything is. Everything looks like it's already perfect. This is actually a fairly fast little jet. For a 64 millimeters, fairly fast. Horizontal stabilizer. Again, everything's labeled, everything ball link. How nice and level that is. Very simple. Folded manual. I hate that. Landing gear, and our little cubby here, you'll see your landing gear and the screws. Now I hope that everything is done with a 2 millimeter hex drive. I'm hoping. Yes, all same size screws. Oh, that makes things so much easier. I'd forgotten that. Okay. And then we got the main event. Rudder's already attached. Okay. All right, nice. How many blades fan is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 12 blades. 12 bladed fan, unless I miscounted. The Marlin is just a good looking. It's modeled after the Avanti, if I remember correctly. I think it's like the Avanti, or similar to it. XT60. Something interesting that I've noticed. Looky there. You got a little pigtail there. Okay. That, folks, is for reverse function. We're going to set that up. Everything's labeled. Okay. All right. More and more of these planes, or these jets, are coming out with a reverse function. And that's what that little. If you watch my video on the Bayhawk, it also had a little yellow pigtail. I didn't talk about it in the video. I noticed it, but I didn't talk about it because with a hand-tossed plane that you're going to be landing. Why would you need reverse? As soon as she hits the ground, she pretty well stops. You know, I can't see any need. It's just I'm thinking, well, that's just a standard ESC that comes with it now. So for this one, something's going to be rolling down the runway. Reverse will be effective and useful. All right, that makes this model Marlin more comparable now to say the Banshee or the FMS Futura, the new 64 millimeter. All right, now I've put many of these Marlins together. This will be my third one, I think. So first one I crashed, obliterated. Then I took the parts, rebuilt it, rebuilt a new one, got some new fuselage parts in, and had a new Marlin. Okay, that one I flew the daylights out of, and then I eventually sold it. Okay, so now Hobby Zone said, well, we want another Marlin. We want you to do an unbox, build, and maiden, so we're going to send you a Marlin. So Hobby Zone, thank you. You sent me out a Marlin. I missed it anyways. I really regretted selling it. So now I got me a new one. So we're going to put this sucker together. Now, first thing you're going to want to do, take your horizontal stabilizer. Okay, you're going to put servo side down. Okay, and if you look, you've got 3 brass-fitted metal connections. You're going to need to pull your rudder off to one side, okay, so that you can get to them all. No need for any glue. Don't have to glue the tail in, but you do have to hook up. Now you've got servo leads. Okay, they're both obviously elevator. They're labeled elevator. Okay, I'm going to go ahead just to make the connections where I don't have to worry about getting in the way. I'm going to cut the little labels off. Okay, make sure you don't cut the wire. Cut the little label off, get some of that material out of the way. You see your 2 pigtails here. You're going to hook in, you're going to hook up the servos first. Now, if I was very tedious and new to this and didn't know anything about the manufacturer, I'd go ahead and I'd test these servos to make sure everything works right. Okay, but but it's only 3 screws, so if I have to undo it and replace the servo, it's only 3 screws that hold the horizontal stabilizer in. I'm going to hook up both servo leads. Remember, light your polarity, light to light, dark to dark. You'll feel that click in. If it doesn't click in, make sure it's in there all the way and that those servo, the little locking mechanism, is locked. Okay? Have a tight fit. So you kind of have to finagle with your fingers there to get it to work. Light to light, dark to dark is the way you hook that up. Okay, that should feel it click into place. Then you're going to grab your wires. Okay, what I'd like to do is go to find them elevators, elevator connection, and grab that wire from within, and then pull it forward some. No, I guess it's not going to. It must have a Y that's glued in there somewhere. Okay. So you're going to have to fish them in, that little pocket that's there. It's easier said than done. Oh, come on now. If I'm running through difficulty, you're going to run through the same difficulty, so let me share how I... Okay, there should be a Y there. Okay, yeah. All right, there's a Y in there somewhere. It's got the same locking mechanisms. Get a hold of that and pull that in. And you're going to pull the other. Be careful. Just gently pull it, and watch that elevator kind of go into place there. All right, and she pops in and drops down into place. You're going to take, remember I had you move that elevator or that rudder? 2 millimeter hex drive gets it done. All right, start out with the one that's by your rudder there. Okay. Remember, you screwed it in there, so right to right, right to tight, maybe. You'll feel it start to bite. Remember, you're going to metal screw into a brass metal housing. So you can go all the way down tight until it bottoms out. Okay, same thing on either side. Just be careful, don't bend your rudder too much doing that. Okay. Feel that? When you start seeing that plastic doubler that's there, you start seeing that dent in, you're down deep enough, because it really didn't have a bottoming out point. So that just means when you see that plastic start to bend in, stop. Don't go any further than that. In fact, you might want to back off half a turn to allow for expansion. Okay, start to see it kind of bend there. Alright, back off half a turn. And that, yeah, the screws just come through, so they don't have a stopping point. And that is your elevator, rudder. There you go. Okay. Alright, I try to get through these videos to cover everything, but get through them quick enough to where they're not like super boring. Alright. With your battery hatch off, take your wing, take your fuselage, turn your motor over, turn your out fuselage over. See that opening right there? Okay. You're going to take these 3 leads, I have a plane stand here somewhere, and fish them forwards towards the nose. Okay. Okay. All right, this is where I like to use a go get 'em type tool. All right, and that's one of the, let me grab mine. These little look like dental tools. Okay, I see all those wires down there, and I just go in there and I grab them. Okay. It just makes your life easier. Okay, just to grab them wires, because you can see them trying to fish in. Okay, let me get over here closer. See them all down there, and as I pull on them, they're wanting to get up in there. Okay. All right. Yeah. You just kind of have to keep finagling that. Get them wires, them little connectors, everything go down through that hole. Should just pop down in there. There we go. When it pops down in there, it's obvious. Okay, there it's down. Everything's pulled forward. Okay, everything's right there for you to grab. All right. Now, this will be a good time to grab a plane stand. The other time would be a good time to grab a plane stand. Grab a plane stand. Okay. Put your model on the plane stand. All right. Now you're going to take 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get 1 extra screw to play with. Go ahead and drop your screws in. Your wing. You get 1 extra screw, so don't lose the screw. Let mean, I have enough loose screws as it is. Okay. So, I'll tighten up this first one. It has a very obvious stopping point. You notice I'm going to start on crisscrossing. Okay? Obvious stopping point, bottoms out, which I wish that the tail would have done that. Support the wing with my body, which if you don't have a big gut like mine, you don't have that advantage. It's one of the advantages of being fat. You got a shelf to play with. All right. Now, still got to do this one here. All right, now we're going to add, after this wing is secure, you need to look at the instructions on which direction the landing gear going. That's nice and tight. Now, all the screws, let me make sure. I don't want the wing coming off on me. Okay, tight, 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 tight. All right, now look at the instructions. We're going to put our gear in. Now this gear just drops in and clicks into place. Nose gears are installed for it. See, this is why I don't like a folded manual. Arrows, FMS, E-Flight, never flow, fold your manuals. Okay. Where's the gear? Folks, where is the gear? What have I done with the gear? It's right here. Okay. Gear is kind of angled back where the wheel would sit back. So you want to put the gear in where that wheel angles back. All right, there's a hole right there. Okay, you're going to take that little part there and put it in the hole, and then you're going to slide it back, and you should hear it and feel it click into place. And see how that is angled back towards me? That's what you want. Put it in the hole, and then that should click into place. All right. Both of those gears, as you can see, are angled back towards me. This plane does not have retracts. Okay. All right. So at this point, we have the basic build of the Marlin. Just to show you that steering mechanism there. If you look at the front of that, and grab that, you can see how that servo steers. All right, so I'm going to give this model a very nice receiver, and I'm going to give it an AR630 antennaless spectrum receiver. It has safe select, AS3X. Okay, and I'm going to be mounting it. Basically, I'm blowing the wires out of the way. On the flat floor down here, right back here. Placement of your receiver is important. Your motor's back here, your ESC is up here, your battery's up here. So right there in that area, whole 360-degree area, there's nothing there but bare foam. Okay, that is an ideal placement for a receiver. Okay, and you get as close to the middle of the plane as you can get it. All right, now this plane's got something. I'm thinking, yeah, buddy. You look on your throttle cable, you see a little yellow pigtail hanging off of there? That's reverse. So that's cool. XT60 gets it done. I'm gonna mount the receiver with the logo going back towards the back of the plane. Okay, and And everything is labeled. Remember, channel 1 is throttle, channel 2, this is spectrum, channel 2 is aileron, channel 3 is elevator, channel 4 is rudder, channel 5 would be gear, but this plane does not have gear, okay, it has fixed gear. So that's where I'm going to plug that little yellow signal wire into the top pin. The top of the receiver is where the logo is, and the top pin there. And I'm going to run that off of my gear channel, and that's going to give me reverse. And then channel 6, or technically aux 1, is my flaps that this plane has. All right. So that's the basic build, unbox and build of the Arrows Marlin. Okay. All right, that is a good looking model. I want to thank Hobby Zone again for sending that out to me. And for a review, like I said, I know the Marlin's a great flying plane, but this is the first time I've had that kind of a receiver, and they must have upgraded the ESCs because my Marlin before did not have reverse that I remember. So thank you for watching, folks. We'll come right back to the next video. Will be the radio setup. I'm going to go ahead and mount that receiver. Remember I told you the connections backwards with the label, with the bind plug where you can see read the word spectrum. It's going to be backwards. The bind plug towards the front of the nose. It's going to be basically, here's the receiver, and I'm going to be mounting it inside there, right there. And I'll show you how to do forward programming and how to set this up with AS3X and safe, and then I'll show you how to do the reverse function. All right, folks, just stay tuned for that next video. God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and then jets. And a shout out to Hobby Zone for sending out the Marlin to me, 64mm EDS Sport Jet. Bye-bye.